Steve, is it Chagaris? Am I saying? Chagaris.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. The senior political editor with CBS Network News. CBSNews.com/politics is the website. And your Twitter handle is Steve Chagaris.
That's right.
Chaggaris. Steve, welcome to the program.
Good to be with you.
So what does the senior political editor at CBS Network News do?
So we have a political unit that assigns out producers and the campaign reporters who cover the candidates, and we're just running the day-to-day coverage of politics. Also, just trying to keep everybody up to speed on what's going on the campaign trail.
Do you? I'm trying to put myself in that place. Do you when you're assigning reporters? We're all human and we all have preferences, right? And typically, if you work with somebody for a little while, you figure out what their preferences are, politically speaking. Mm-hmm. And I could build an argument for making sure that the people who are following Hillary around actually like Hillary. The people who are following Bernie around actually like Bernie. The people who are following Kasich around actually like him. Or I could build an argument for, get the Bernie supporter to follow the Hillary campaign, get the Hillary supporter to follow the Bernie campaign. You're going to get a different form of coverage. Do those kind of equations, does that stuff roll through your head?
Yeah. So the way I look at it is I would prefer all of our people to be as impartial as possible and not actually get to liking any of them. I try to, the metaphor I use is when, if you're a fan of the NFL, for instance, you have your favorite team. What's your favorite team? Do you follow football?
I don't.
Okay, I follow the New England Patriots.
Okay.
But I love watching any game. And I don't necessarily, so if I don't watch a Patriots game, say I watched the Super Bowl yesterday, the Broncos versus the Panthers, I didn't care who won that game. I watched it because I love watching football. I love watching the strategy. I love watching how they make their plays. And I just like watching good football. So I try to teach at least the young reporters that come and work with us, watch this as you're watching a sport, and you don't have a dog in the fight.
But Steve, isn't that the problem? I mean, politics is not football. My life will not change in any way because the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl yesterday.
Sure, but our job is not to tell people how to vote. Our job is to tell people what these people are saying and why they're saying it and how they're saying it, right? Yeah. So it's up to you as the voter to decide how you should vote, right? So it's for us to present that information as much as an impartial way as possible.
Yeah. So you're hewing back to the pre-'87. The fairness doctrine used to say if people improperly quote it, saying if you had one on, you had to have the other on. It didn't say that at all. Other than station editorials,
right.
There had to be the possibility for a rebuttal from a station editorial. But the main thing was that in order for a station to get their license renewed every year, they had to demonstrate that they were programming in the public interest. That was the magic phrase. And the way they did that was they carried news, principally from the networks. And I know I remember in '87. Driving down the street in Germany, listening to American Forces Radio, and conversation about how Reagan had basically stopped enforcing the fairness doctrine, and CBS actually I think was the first network to move their news division under their entertainment division and make it a profit center. How do you balance? I did news back in the '70s, and from what 72 to 78, I did news at WITL in Lansing, Michigan, and there was such a firewall that if I was caught talking to a sales guy, I'd get fired. I mean, there was an absolute firewall. News was news, and it wasn't there to make a profit. It was there to serve the public interest so we can get our license renewed next year. And we lost money on news. How do you thread that needle now that the suits are saying, and I think that a lot of the Trump phenomena is the consequence of this. The suits are saying, "Hey, get the coverage on that's going to bring the eyeballs." When at the same time, as I said, this isn't sports. This is our republic. It's consequential stuff is going to come out of these decisions. How do you do it?
Well, so first, just to correct you, we are still a separate division within CBS Corporation, and we are a news division. We are not under entertainment. We have our own executives who are news executives, and so we're first and foremost, our goal is to present the news. Now, yes, do we have budgets? Absolutely. Are we supposed to stay within those budgets? Sure. I'm not at a level where I'm deciding, what sells, what doesn't sell. We're given a budget to spend on coverage and how we're going to cover these candidates, cover politics this year, and we have to make hard decisions. Especially the more candidates there are, it's very expensive to cover these campaigns.
Sure.
So our job in terms from the financial standpoint is how do we cover all of this given the amount of money that we're given to cover this? And so there are no choices that are made on our part based on ratings or based on how much attention we're going to get for coverage. We are simply charged with figuring out how to cover this campaign in a way that is going to be as useful to our viewers and our readers and our listeners as possible.
We're talking to Steve Shigaris, the senior political editor at CBS Network News. Steve, we got just about a minute left here. How do you deal with a candidate? I mean, we're living in this era of real time fact checking. The New York Times during the debates was like in real time fact checking what people were saying. How are you dealing with that at CBS Network News?
We try to do that as well. It's not always easy. These guys are all very smart in terms of the things they say, and they're not always black and white, stark, false, and true, right? There's a lot of gray area there, and sometimes you need a little bit of time to get the research done and to really point out where are they twisting things and how are they twisting these things to fit their narrative, right? So. But that's part of the game. I mean, part of the game is to interpret what these people are saying and tell, again, our viewers, our readers, our listeners, what is right, what is not so right, what is completely wrong.
Yeah. Fascinating. Steve Shigaris, the senior political editor at CBS Network News. CBSNews.com/politics is the website. You can tweet him at Steve, Steve Shigaris, Chaggaris. Steve, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks. It was a blast.
Great talking with you.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.